I was in the middle of a video shoot in the morning and I came back after 2 hours. The first round of the tournament was held in the city of San Francisco, California. Some of the audience was even confused at the time. The first is that the internet is not a place for the people. Why do you want to end a season? I'm not really focused on anything. Prophecy of the cutting of the tinnitus. But this series is not a good one. The gap between the two pairs is really visible to the naked eye. The first is that the government is not going to be able to keep up with the demands of the people. The video is now out of print and can be played in more detail. The first is that the new season is going to be a big hit. This summer, 7 of the team's main players agreed to disagree. What about the management and the sacrifices? Do you think that the next season will be the time for them to fly out of the sky? Today, let's focus on the sudden changes in the workforce. The results of the survey were published in the journal Nature. First, we need to solve a problem. How do we deal with the surprise 25-16 season? The first is that the man was killed in a plane crash. The first is the summer of the year. LBJ's injury from the season. The latest in a series of injuries to the Luka AR. The injury prevented him from hitting his own version of the chicken. The first time the group was invited to the festival was in January. The trio won consecutive games in the final season. The team was also the first to win the World Series and the only team to beat the previous playoffs. The video was shot in the middle of the night. If we consider that Luka is a team that is older than the rest of the team, then we will be able to make a difference. The game was cancelled after a series of races. The first time I saw the show was in the early days of the show, and I was surprised to learn that it was a disappointment. Luka AR is getting a loan after being injured. The team's first ever playoff appearance was in the final, and the team's first playoff appearance was in the final. The group is also known as the underdog because of its rocketry. The LBJ has a history of replacement capabilities. In India, Voice won 3 games. The team was able to get rid of the rocket and headed to the stake. The Game 3 series, which was a major epic reversal, was even completed. After the series, the team was able to win the tournament. The best players in history over 40 years old changed their opinions. The film is a work of fiction. The series of thunderstorms that followed the stages of the race was already complete. The LBJ is located in the front of the building. The first time I saw the video, I was surprised to learn that the video was not a good one. The video was shot on the internet and was directed by the actor. The team is a great team, and they are very proud of their team. This is due to the injury of Luka. The results are based on the results, not on the Luka injury. The first is that the people who are in the country are not happy. In theory, the decision is suddenly qualified at a higher level than the stakes in Thunder. The game is a game of chance, and even if you can't hit it, you can at least get out of Game 6. As mentioned earlier, they were finally unable to touch their own version of the sky. The team has been a huge success, and we're not going to let them see the real strength of the team. However, injuries will always be part of the NBA game. The first is that the people of the country are encouraged to be encouraged and to be encouraged to be encouraged. The video is about the band's first album, which was released in the United States on December 11, 2011. The following is a question that will be of interest: how the staff changes during the race. In the previous video, we talked about the inside of the video. This time, more systematic thinking is needed. The new government will also be able to change some of the previous ideas and views. The newly created climate change is a major challenge for the country. The number of players entering the free market this summer. The new deal includes a contract with LBJ to become a free agent. The first is the story of the young man who was born in the city of New York. The first player to be selected is probably A2, who will be out of contract. The Atone Smart 3. The first time I saw a woman in the city, I was in a very bad mood. The first time I saw the video, I was in the middle of a conversation with a friend of mine, and I was in the middle of a conversation with a friend of mine. The government has also been trying to get the government to stop the trade. After the list of 7 people, who is the most important genetic object that no one has ever seen? Maybe A2 or A2. The climate change is a major issue in the country. Pelinka says they have already started negotiations with the A2 team on a fake contract. I'm not sure about it. A2 itself tends to stay with each other rather than go to another team to play the game. The biggest challenge is how much contract should I give him. In the regular season, A2 scored 23.3 points in 34.5 minutes on average. C.7 tennis panel, 5.5 lead, 1.10 overs. The 3 hits were 49.0, 36.0, and 87.1. The A2 Fire line has won 6 matches in the last 2 races. The average length of 36.8 minutes was 20.0 points. C.0 playoff, 5.8 assists and 1.17 points. The number of hits in 3 states is 40.7. The number of people who are in the country is 25.7 and 86.0. The first time he was in the race, he was not very good at racing, but he was very good at holding back the production. The team's performance was also up 3% from last season with the team's ability to improve. He is a great man and he deserves a gold medal if you look at this expression. The price of gold is not even close to the top of the market. The company also offers a 4-year contract with an average salary of $40 million to $45 million per year. The price is basically the same as the price of the first one, because he is at the same level as him. The problem is that the A2 races have dropped so badly that the occasional highlight performance is not even appropriate. The second year in a row, he has been in the top 10 in the world in the event of a losing record. The last season of the series was all about Wolves and his performance was equally unforgiving. The player who has a worse record of the game is paid the same amount as the player who has already been paid online. The number of people who are not in the country is very high. From a position of alignment, if we take the crown as the middle target of the Houthi fleet, we will be able to take the crown as the middle target of the Houthi fleet. The first is that the first is a weak ring, which is a kind of defensive ring. The best option is to get him a recruit to work with a public safety issue. A2 and Look will be shown at the same time as the contest. The attackers have two vulnerabilities that can be named. The first is that the two are not the same as the other two, but they are the same as the other two. The captain's thunder, the wolf's return, and at least the first time he's been hit will be the wind ball. So my advice is to push the nuclear payroll of a 2 to the standard if it is possible or not. The first is that the government is not going to pay the bills. The first is that the nuclear power plant will be built in a few years. The new rules will be implemented in the coming months. The team also wants to deliver the A20. The world's largest nuclear power plant is not going to be a trading post. The second priority of whose extension is timely LBJ. This is not the time for LBJ to be less aggressive than a 2. He is a young man and he's a young man. The climate race is a long-running 82-lap race that is expected to be held in the future. The report also shows that the number of people who are living in the country is higher than the number of people who are living in the country. A2 may be the one that can help Luka more, but if it comes to the memorial contest, what is the strength of LBJ? I believe that everyone has numbers in their minds. The first is the ball of the world. The first is the retirement page of Kobe. The LBJ announced the opening of the final dance at any time. The report also highlights the importance of the LBJ's efforts to protect the rights of the people. Last year of wind and light. On this basis, if the hook is not heavily restored in time, the LBJ has seen more of a competitive prospect than this season. I think it's a good idea to go back to the past. The LBJ is not a talkative group. The report was published in the journal The New York Times. The company is also a major supplier of electricity to the public. The Chinese government has also been trying to get the country to move to a new country. If the LBJ's budget is squeezed to about $20 million, the LBJ will be able to pay the debt. I'm not sure what I'm saying. He will be the biggest profiteer of the Houthis. What is the next step? Smart and 8 villages nearby. We can put it together and talk about it. This year's contest. The two men performed well beyond their mental capacity. The company is a leading provider of smartphones and smartphones. The game is a remarkable achievement for the fans. The first is the Spanish attack. He is also a member of the International Olympic Committee (IOC) and is a member of the International Olympic Committee. The country's military has been a major player in the fight against terrorism. He should not be too long. I'm going to go back to my estimate. He has a great opportunity. Nearly 10 million. He was a very good player. 8 villages. This year's contest is a god show. The army scored 17.5 points. The average shooting rate was 54.9. The average score of 3 hits is 56.9. The game is still in 3.3 points per game. 15 consecutive games. The number of hits is over 50%. It's amazing. Previous post, how to make a wheelchair. He always told me he can play LBJ. It is true. He was the third Finian to hold the title in the team's history. The first is that the government is not going to be able to keep up with the demand. The first 3 points of the race were tied for the lead. The first in history, 51.9% of the 8 villages were hit. I'm not wrong. The first in history. More than one shooter. He is now the only person in the world who has a mind of 18 million. This is a bit low. The 28-year-old is also expected to sign a contract with WHO. The military is seeking $20 to $25 million in damages. And it is certain that, even if the fool doesn't give it, the team will also be willing to give away the missing projections and the overall risk. The two storms, Hace and Atone, were the first to hit the city. We can also talk together. The game is a reminder of the game. Atone Young bullies the mountain roll, but the Sting is the real champion line. Hartenstown and Chad. The first is that the government is not prepared to take any action. He is a bit of a jerk to the idiots. The first time I saw him, I was surprised that he was not able to get a job. If he is forced to leave, he will be forced to leave. The first of these is the first of its kind in the world, and the second is the first in the world. The government has also been trying to get the government to pay the price of the money. If you're above that price, just send it away. What about Hayes? The T5 attack is a major blow to the country. He is basically able to match this level. He is also the type of person who fits look. The government has also been trying to get the government to pay the bills. Keep playing T5. Nar is next. His level was basically in line with the price. He is also a member of the National Association of Realtors, which is the national governing body of the United States. It's nice to see all 7 of them finished. In fact, Clapper's contract expired this summer. But for him, I don't really want to say too much. The contest is clear. The Houthi administration can notify Clapper Rays. The last minute of the Radagane 4 was put on the field. The last 5 he left for the Hoosiers. I'm not sure if this is the best way to get rid of the problem. I'm sure you'll find it. If only the above extension. The competition of the Houthis is not too strong. The 2 other things they have to do are: the first is to dig into the potential of the team's inner show. The second is to get involved in big deals and introduce strong currency. According to the annual show Adil Viral, his health is improving. The team is desperately in need of a stop to the risk. He has been a part of the team for the past 2 years. But the expression is generally, the game took just 5.7 minutes to score 1.5 points. The first is version 2.0. The first is that the water is not too hot. Riddick's running didn't give him much time. It is wrong, so we needs to develop a projection during this period of training. He is a good-looking man, and he is a good-looking man. He has a chance of becoming a qualified junior. He must act. Riddick is comfortable. He was also a member of the team that won the World Cup in the following season. The Yellow Prince Brony is another of the 3 younger brothers. Adil is back higher, but I personally might be more aware of Brony's progress. He is also a former football player. The first is that the number of shots is higher than the number of shots. The whole season just ended. He didn't want to grow up. This is an opportunity to help him go further in the future. The first is that the language is not the same as the old one. The team is very happy to leave early. I hope you find a honey bargain as soon as possible. The deal was received. This year's competition. No one can fully use this to reinforce the country. Subtitles are now in the question price stage. Luckily, the court signed the 5th. The first is that the country is not a country. The trade line. The 2 of them could not try to ask the price. The first is that the country is not a country. According to Keith Smith, the number of people who are dying is about to double. After the lotto draw ended, the latest new funding space for the leagues has been revealed. The first is the Street of the World, the second highest league. This actually helped them to chase me. The first is the body. The military is not a bad thing. Playing with Luke. The number of people who are suffering from depression is also high. The government has been trying to overcome the problem of the country. If you can get this kind of quality puzzle back into the book, the team's limits can also be raised. And don't forget about it. The first is that the country is not a country. The god of buy a wish. If the operation is done. The players who were added to the squad were in line with the needs of the team. Successful expansion of wheel depth. The team is not going to be able to get more people to play until they get back to playing. I have no doubts about this. The next season's colors will make significant progress. The next season is expected. I saw one. I'm not sure what the problem is.